The 2019 college football season has finally reached its make or break moment. 10 conference championships are at stake on this much anticipated December weekend. More notably, however, 4 programs will move one step closer toward the ultimate goal of a national title. Ohio State, LSU, and Clemson enter their respective championship games with 12-0 records. If they win, they're guaranteed a place in the upcoming college football playoff. Since Georgia plays LSU, a victory propels the Bulldogs to the CFP2. But if those favorites back up their billings, the final CFP position will be between Oklahoma or maybe Baylor and Utah. And tonight, on this season finale of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday, we will break down all of the marquee matchups and so much more. Hello, friends, and welcome to the season finale of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. Can't believe I'm saying that already, but it's true. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. And gentlemen, let's not waste any more time. Championship weekend is here and it's now. And let's get into our first game of the night, which will take place tomorrow night over on ABC. Yes, a Friday night ABC game. Go figure. And it will be the Pac-12 championship game from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, outside of San Francisco, home of the 49ers. It will be the number 5 Utah Utes squaring off against the number 13 Oregon Ducks. Like I said, from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. And a very interesting announce team for this one. Yes, it's Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. Normally, Maria Taylor's with them, but I don't know if they're doing it for this week or if this is going to be an experimental thing. But it's not Maria Taylor. It's actually going to be Molly McGrath that's going to be working with them, if you can believe that. So I'm looking forward to that. And Utah opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. So let's get into it. The Pac-12 championship between Utah and Oregon. Here we go. As soon as it loads. Welcome to my world. Very slow. Okay, here we go. After a poor performance in a loss to Arizona State 2 weeks ago, Justin Herbert mustered a season-worst 5.8 yards per attempt in a victory over Oregon State. The divisive NFL prospect isn't playing at a high level, and he's about to face an elite defense. Not a great combination. Utah ranks 4th nationally at 5.7 yards allowed a pass, holding 8 straight opponents at 6.1 or below. The Utes also permit an FBS low 2.3 yards a carry, and since 2018, Herbert has regularly failed to propel Oregon when the running game struggles. While the Ducks should hang around because of their strong defense, the secondary is prone to lapses. Utah quarterback Tyler Huntley, who is averaging 11.1 yards per attempt, will provide the winning difference. So I am actually going to go with Utah to win this game. My final score, 27-20. Utah beats Oregon tomorrow night in the Pac-12 championship game. And now I bring in the Kirk Herbstreit to my Chris Fowler, good old MF Michael Fletcher, MF. Utah, Oregon, Pac-12 championship. What says you?
Yo, I gotta say, this is gonna be an interesting game, no doubt about it. If you had told me earlier in the year, I would have gone with Oregon. I think there would be no doubt about it. I would have gone with Oregon to win this game. But with the way that Utah's been playing and with the opportunity that they have to possibly go to the college football playoff, they're going to need a few things to go their way. But I'm going to say it, guys. I think Utah is going to win it. They will be your Pac-12 champions. And there's really nothing more for me to say. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you. I got Utah winning the Pac-12.
Yeah, and I mean, earlier in the year, like you said, I mean, I would have said Oregon if this was, but the thing is, like you said, Utah playing well defensively, and lately Oregon, I mean, I just don't like what I've seen from them, especially in the last game with Justin Herbert. And if he has another game like he did last week against Oregon State, you know that Utah defense is going to be feasting on him. So I think Justin Herbert's got to take care of the football and not turn it over if the Oregon Ducks have any chance of pulling off an upset. So, and Florida, you said they're the number 5 team in the nation, right?
Yeah, they're ranked number 5 right now. Yes.
Yeah, so basically Utah needs to win this game and then hope for some other things to go their way, especially with the SEC championship game and the Big Ten championship game if they have any chance of getting into the college football playoff. But all Utah has to do is do their part and then wait and see what happens with the other big games. But I'm going to go with Utah to win. But yeah, I mean, they just got to continue to do their job defensively, and they will walk out of here victorious and then need a lot of help to get into the college football playoff. So nothing more to say, Florio. Let's move on to the next game.
And I'll say it like this. If Utah wins, their chances of making it are very good. Because I think what happens with Georgia and LSU, I think they're going to cancel each other out. So I think if Utah wins, I like their chances of getting in. I really do. So we'll wait and see what happens. That's tomorrow night. Now we move on to the Saturday slate. And we started off at high noon. What else is new? And another huge one. This is for the Big 12 championship. High noon over on ABC. The number 6 Oklahoma Sooners squaring off against the number 7 Baylor Bears, AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, Arlington, Texas. And on the call for that one, it will be Sean McDonough with Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe. They will be in Jerry World for this massive Big 12 title matchup. And the spread favors, I believe it favors Oklahoma. Yes, it does. Oklahoma opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. MF, Baylor, Oklahoma. Last time we saw them, not much happened. I mean, all we saw was basically almost a carbon copy of Super Bowl 51, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, it was. It was literally a carbon copy of Super Bowl 51. Baylor was well on their way. They were blowing out Oklahoma, and all of a sudden, Oklahoma caught fire, came back, and it was ball game. They had no chance in the situation at the end, and it was a big victory for Oklahoma as they crushed Baylor's hearts. Now Baylor could in turn destroy Oklahoma's season, because Oklahoma right now has the opportunity to sneak in. They're going to need a little help. Like everybody's been saying, they're another team. But I think at the end of the day, Oklahoma will drop the hammer on Baylor. I think they will once again. It'll be another 5-star classic. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be high scoring like all these Big 12 games normally are. My final score is 49-45. Oklahoma knocking off Baylor to capture the Big 12 championship. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a high-scoring game, and with the way these offenses are, and Oklahoma, I mean, they still have a slim chance of getting in. All they got to do is just win the Big 12 championship, and like I said earlier, with the Pac-12 title game with Utah, like I said, they need to win. They need to do their job, and then hopefully for something good to happen, whether it's with what happens in the Big Ten championship or the SEC championship, because if any of those teams fall, there's a chance Oklahoma can still get in. So all Oklahoma's got to do is just do their part and then wait and see what happens afterwards. So yeah, I got Oklahoma winning a high-scoring affair. I'm going to go 51-45 as my final score, because I expect a really big game from Jalen Hurts. You know he's going to be throwing a lot of touchdown passes. So I really got nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Before I do, I forgot to mention when it comes to that Pac-12 championship game, I consider that maybe the number 4 game of the week. I would say this one probably comes in maybe 2 or 3. We all know what the game of the week is, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But let me say it like this: 2 early turnovers nearly crushed Oklahoma when it traveled to Baylor in November, but Jalen Hurts and company overcame a 28-3 deficit to stun the hometown crowd. Looking ahead to the rematch, most all of us expect the Sooners to score plenty of points. The nation's most prolific at 564.3 yards a game and 5th highest scoring offense, 44.3, has earned that projection regardless of opponent. So will Oklahoma keep playing solid defense, or will Baylor head coach Matt Rhule have a more effective approach this time around? Because without the takeaways, November's game could have been ugly. The Sooners held the Bears to 307 yards and have since limited TCU and Oklahoma State to 204 and 335 respectively. If they're anywhere close to that level of performance, the final score will be lopsided in OU's favor. So I think it'll be close for maybe 2.5 to 3 quarters. But I think right around late third, early fourth, I could see Oklahoma pulling away and winning a little more comfortably than these guys have it. So I'm going with Oklahoma. I think they're going to win it a little more comfortably. I'm going to go 42-24. Oklahoma beats Baylor for the second time, wins the Big 12 championship, and they're at number 6. Utah's at 5. The only way I really see Oklahoma winning and Oklahoma getting in is if Utah were to lose to Oregon and Oklahoma wins the Big 12. And if those couple of things happen, then I think it's Boomer Sooner.
I think there's even a better possibility is that if Utah wins but only wins by a close margin, and if literally Oklahoma blows out Baylor, they would absolutely have to holiday ham them. And maybe the committee might do the leapfrog, because remember, a lot of the times it's always about strength of schedule, strength of victory, and that's actually another factor. How good do you win your game? If for some reason like an Oregon versus Utah and the game goes down to the wire where it's like a 3-point margin, and that 42-24 margin that you have, Florio, that actually might be enough for the committee to have Oklahoma leapfrog over Utah, and who knows, maybe that gets them in. You never know.
Absolutely. So that's all I can say on that. So 42-24 Oklahoma. What we're going to do this evening, because there are games listed that normally are not listed on my docket sheet here. I usually go by only the ranked teams, and there are a few other games that have non-ranked teams. So what we would do is just simply, maybe give a quick score or a quick nod on that. But before we get to that, we do have a ranked team next. High noon over on ESPN. This is I believe this is the Sun Belt Championship, I believe. Yeah. It's the Sun Belt Championship matchup. We have the number 21 Appalachian State Mountaineers at home at Kid Brewer Stadium. They're going to be hosting the Ragingans of Louisiana Lafayette. High noon over on ESPN, and on the call for this Sun Belt Championship game, it will be Clay Matvick with Ryan Leaf and Quint Kessenich. And the spread favors Appalachian State by 6.5. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the Sun Belt Championship?
I'm just going to make this one short and sweet and to the point. I got Appalachian State winning this one. I think this is going to be the culmination of a really good season for them. So I got them winning this one. I'm going to go 28 to 14 to my final score. So Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, defense ruled the day when Appalachian State traveled to Louisiana and pulled out a 17-7 victory over the Raging Cajuns in October. And now that App State is at home, the narrative will probably be the same. Since the clash, only 2 of the Mountaineers' 7 opponents have crested 15 points. Additionally, Louisiana Lafayette has allowed more than 20 points just 2 times in the same stretch. Taking advantage of scoring opportunities will be crucial, and Appalachian State holds the edge in the red zone. The Mountaineers rank 4th nationally with a stellar 80% red zone touchdown rate. The Raging Cajuns need the best version of their red zone defense, 16th nationally, to show up. Otherwise, they must be near perfect opposite a stingy 19th ranked App State defense, 321.2 yards allowed a game. That's a huge burden for the offense to shoulder. So a little closer than what Bullock has it, but I got Appalachian State winning the Sun Belt 24-16. Unanimous, MF?
I'll go with App State as well, even though I gotta give it up for Lafayette. They're 10-2.
Yeah.
So they're no pushovers, guys. They're no pushovers. They deserve to be here in the championship game as well. But yeah, it's Appalachian State. They're at home with the title on the line. I don't think they're gonna lose this one as well. I think they will capture the championship as well. It's gonna be interesting. I'm going to go 24-14. App State wins. Florio, go.
All right. And other games, here's another one. Now, the next two games, there's no ranked teams. So, but, I want to personally address it. So, now it's not often we do this on our college football show or the NFL show for that matter, but we're calling cutouts here. But me being the fowler that I am, I'm going to, give a brief synopsis on the game. So MF and Bullock, you don't have to give me a prediction unless you want to. So high noon over on ESPN2. This is the first of our 3. There are three of these games do not have ranked teams, and thankfully the next 2 are 2 in a row here, so that's good. High noon on ESPN2 from Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. We have a matchup of the Miami of Ohio Redhawks and the Central Michigan Chippewas. And this is for, just want to check, this is for the MAC championship. MAC championship is on the line. We have, the matchup with Miami of Ohio and Central Michigan. In case any of you are looking for it, the spread favors Central Michigan by 6.5. And on the call for that game will be Anish Shroff with John Congemi and Chris Buck.
All right. Unfortunately, we just lost Anthony Florio for the moment. So he was going to go for the Central Michigan versus Miami of Ohio MAC championship game. I wasn't really going to talk about the game, but I guess I got no choice now. Central Michigan was 8-4 on the year, and Miami of Ohio 7-5. I'm going to go and I'm going to say I'll go with Central Michigan. I think that's the game that he's going to want to do. Games on ESPN2. So the other championship game that's not listed on our docket here, guys, was for the Conference USA title game. It's UAB against Florida Atlantic. This game will be on CBS Sports Network. It's UAB 9-3 versus Florida Atlantic, which is 9-3. And on this one, Florida Atlantic are the favorites going into the game. So really nothing much on this one. I'll give it to Florida Atlantic. I think they'll win. Anthony Florio is back with us. So Anthony, yeah, no problem.
For the drop. So where do we leave off here?
Basically, I was just talking briefly about the UAB versus Florida Atlantic for the Conference USA.
Yes. So I have Central Michigan winning that MAC championship 31-23. Did you guys give a pick or anything?
Bullock and I did not. I did say Central Michigan. Bullock did not.
I got Central Michigan winning.
Okay. There you go, Florio.
All right, very good. All right, next up, as MF mentioned, this is a 1:30 kickoff over on the CBS Sports Network. The Conference USA Championship matchup features the UAB Blazers and the Florida Atlantic Owls. And this will be held at FAU Stadium. Florida Atlantic will be the home team for this. So UAB overhauled the roster this offseason, yet still managed to return to the Conference USA title game. That alone is a major accomplishment, considering the amount of production the Blazers lost. But the one glaring issue is UAB struggles outside of Birmingham, Alabama. While the Blazers are 6-0 at home with 31.5 points a game, they're an uninspiring 3-3 with an 18.7-point average on the road. They need to avoid mistakes, and that trend is not favorable either. Florida Atlantic's defense is not great, but the opportunistic unit leads the FBS with 29 takeaways. Conversely, only 11 teams have committed more turnovers than UAB's 23. That difference may be what propels FAU to its second conference title in 3 years. So I got Florida Atlantic winning. My final score is 24-20. Do you gentlemen want to give a quick pick?
I'll go Florida Atlantic as well.
Bullet?
Yeah, Florida Atlantic for me.
All right. So now we're back into the relevant stuff. The American Athletic Conference Championship matchup. 3:30 over on ABC. And we just saw this a week ago. And what are the odds we get it for a second straight week? The number 17 Memphis Tigers back at home at the Liberty Bowl. And they, once again, will be hosting for the second week in a row the number 20 Cincinnati Bearcats for the American Athletic Conference Championship. By the way, when it comes to that Conference USA game over on CBS Sports Network, Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, and John Schriffen are going to be your announcers for that. And Florida Atlantic is a 7.5-point favorite. So we got that out of the way. So getting into the American Championship, Memphis opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. So I'll reset the rotation. I'll start it, and then we'll go with MF and Bullock and all that. So, all right, let's get to the American. Try to find it here. Okay. Last week, Memphis earned a 34-24 victory over Cincinnati to win the division and secure home field for this contest. The rematch will have a different feel because the Bearcats will have a different quarterback. Head coach Luke Fickell said per Fletcher Page of the Cincinnati Enquirer, Desmond Ridder is our quarterback. I think for what he's done here over the last 2 years, there is no doubt who our quarterback is. We held him out last week. Ridder missed the loss because of a shoulder injury. His return, though, won't necessarily provide the boost Cincinnati wants. In 4 November games, Ridder completed just 47.8% of his passes with 4.9 yards per attempt. The Bearcats have a superb defense, but Memphis notched 34 points last week while only scoring a touchdown on 1 of 4 red zone trips. The Tigers still have untapped offensive upside, and it'll carry them to another victory over Cincinnati. So I have Memphis winning the American Athletic Championship. They beat Cincinnati again, 38-28. That's my final score. So, MF, can Memphis make it 2 weeks in a row against Cincinnati?
I think they can, and I think they will. Going into this, again, if this was a few weeks ago, I would have said Cincinnati to win it. But now I got to feel like, and I kind of sense that, yeah, I got to go. So I got really nothing more to say. And I'm going to go with Memphis to capture the title. So, yeah, Memphis wins. Bullet, go.
Yeah, I got to go with Memphis as well. I think they're the better team, especially playing at home here. And there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So let's move on to our next game, Oreo.
And gentlemen, it's main event time. Here we go. The game of the week right here. This is what the words main event were meant for, because, my friends, it don't get no bigger than this. The SEC championship game, 4 o'clock on CBS, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. The number 2 LSU Tigers squaring off against the number 4 Made in Georgia Bulldogs. You know who's working this. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jamie Erdahl. They have the call, and LSU opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher. We started with you. This is the big one right here. Winner. This is basically winner take all. Winner is in the CFP. Loser, see ya bye.
No, I disagree. And Anthony, here's the reason why. And here's the reason why. I think if LSU is undefeated, LSU has not lost a game, and with the body of work that they have all year long, they could afford a loss and get in. They still could afford a loss and get in. So no, it's not see ya bye. If Georgia loses, then it's see ya bye. Here's the thing. If LSU loses, they help Georgia get in. Basically what happens is this. If everything holds, if Clemson wins, if Ohio State wins, if Georgia wins, and LSU, ladies and gentlemen, that's your 4. I'm sorry, Utah. I'm sorry, Oklahoma. I'm sorry to any other team. But this is a situation where if you're LSU, you're thinking, okay, we could get 2 SEC teams in the college football playoff. How can we do it? We could let Georgia win, and if Georgia wins, they're in. LSU has already proven they deserve to be there. There's no ifs, no ands, no buts about it. If LSU loses, it doesn't hurt them because their only loss would be to Georgia. And if you notice, Georgia has won all the other games. They've lost a whole bunch of different battles, whatever you want to say. Georgia only had one hiccup. That was South Carolina. LSU will only have one hiccup, which would be Georgia. You're in Georgia, in Atlanta, for the title, and knowing just the mere fact that they could get 2 SEC teams in the college football playoff, just for that fact alone, Anthony, normally I would never do this, but I think LSU is gonna do something for best for business, and they're gonna lay down. Now, I don't mean they're gonna lay down and let Georgia walk all over them. Absolutely not. But at the end of the day, Georgia's gonna capture the SEC title, which will lock the college football playoff. Your Final 4 will be Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, and Georgia. That will be the lock, or every other team will not get in. Georgia wins the SEC championship, 31-24. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Boy, how on earth am I going to follow that? I don't know how I'm going to do it. But yeah, I mean, this is tough for me. I mean, you know LSU is going to compete and try to go for that SEC title. But Georgia's going to compete to make that possible that Fletcher just mentioned. But in the end, it's just tough. I mean, these 2 teams worked hard to get to this point, and now, and like you said, I mean, there's a chance both of them could get in if Georgia wins. But like you said, if LSU walks out and wins this SEC championship, then for Georgia, it's pretty much, their chances are done, finished. The thing for me, I mean, I just think LSU is the better team. I mean, their body of work all throughout the season has been impressive. I mean, especially with being able to what they did against Alabama earlier in the season. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to disagree with Michael Fletcher here, and I am gonna go with the LSU Tigers to win the SEC championship. My final score is going to be 21-17 is my final score. And sorry, Georgia, your college football playoff dreams are about to be shattered, and it's going to open the door for someone else to get in. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, comes down to the age-old question. Who do you go with? Fletcher and the Georgia Bulldogs, or me and the LSU Tigers?
Well, let me get my notes here, and I'll get back to you on that. Last week, the College Football Playoff Selection Committee pointed to LSU's merely above-average defense as one justification for lifting Ohio State to number 1 in the rankings. The Tigers responded by holding a decent Texas A&M offense to 169 yards and 7 points. That is what an unimpressive Georgia attack didn't want to see. Before shredding a hapless Georgia Tech defense last week, the Dogs had mustered just 4.9 yards of play over their last 4 games. Georgia has a tremendous defense, and the strength is in the secondary. Few teams are better prepared to contain LSU's sensational offense, led by Heisman Trophy favorite Joe Burrow. But the Dogs need to match a potentially explosive performance, and they've not inspired much confidence lately that it's a possibility. So, with that being said, who do I agree with? I'm sorry, MF. I got to go with Michael Bullock on this one. I have LSU winning the SEC championship as well. My final score, 34-24. It's close for 3 quarters and into the 4th, but I think LSU will get a late insurance touchdown to seal it, probably late in the 4th, middle to late 4th to seal it. So 34-24, LSU over Georgia to win the SEC championship. So nothing more to say on that. Let's move on to our next 4 o'clock game over on ESPN. This is the Mountain West Championship game. The number 19 Boise State Broncos back at home on that infamous Smurf turf at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho, hosting the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii. And I forgot another announced team for the American Athletic Conference Championship. Dave Patch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville. That's over on ABC. And I already mentioned the SEC. So for the Mountain West, we got Roy Philpott, Kelly Stufer, and Lawrence Sisler. And Boise State opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. So Bullock, I think we all know who to go with when it comes to the Mountain West.
Oh yeah, when it comes to the Mountain West, it's an easy answer here. It's the Boise State's going to walk out of here with the Mountain West title. I mean, they do have that obvious home field advantage with the Smurf turf there, but yeah, I mean, I don't think this is going to be a close one. They should run away with this one. So I got nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
You've probably heard the saying, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Boise State is working on being an exception to that rule and has committed to its 3rd stringer. According to Ron Count of the Idaho Statesman, head coach Brian Harsin has named Jalen Henderson the starter for the Mountain West Conference title game. Over the last 3 contests, the senior has thrown for 732 yards and 8 touchdowns with 1 interception. So this is a different Boise State offense than the one that demolished Hawaii 59-37 in October. The results shouldn't change, though. Hawaii still has a high-powered attack, but the Warriors have ceded at least 6.8 yards per play in 6 of their last 8 outings and committed the most turnovers in the FBS. That's not a recipe for success on the blue turf against the 11-1 Broncos. Boise State wins it. It might be closer than people think, but I got Boise State winning nonetheless, 42-31. Boise over Hawaii for the Mountain West. Unanimous, MF?
Agreed. Boise State wins the Mountain West. Florio, next game.
And this is the 3rd and final championship game, cutout championship game with non-ranked teams. 4 o'clock, ESPN University. We have the Southern University Jaguars squaring off against the Alcorn State Braves at Jack Spinks Stadium. And This is for the. Just want to make sure I have it here. This is going to be for. Well, I don't think I have a preview of this game. So I think what we should do is just move on from it. So that's actually what we're going to do. So I don't have a preview of this game, but I can give you some quick schematics. I don't think there's actually a spread for this. So it's the SWAC championship. SWAC championship, ESPN University, Tiffany Green, Jay Walker, and Larisha Harris. That's all you need to know. So flip of the coin, I probably would give it to Alcorn State because they have the better records. So they're 8-3, and Southern is 6-4. So toss of the coin, I'd go to Alcorn State. MF, I'm sure you agree.
Alcorn, but like I said, we don't really care about this game too much, so let's just move on.
Yeah, so we're probably going to be unanimous on that. But
yeah,
all right. 2 games left, and now let's get back into the serious business here. 7:30 over on ABC, the ACC championship game. We have the number 3 Clemson Tigers squaring off against the number 23 Virginia Cavaliers. Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina. And on the call for this one, here comes the switch again. Steve Levy, Brian Griese, Todd McShay. Normally Molly McGrath is with them, but Molly McGrath and Maria Taylor are going to be swapping spots. As I mentioned earlier, Molly McGrath is going to be working with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit and for the Pac-12 championship. And Maria Taylor is going to join Steve Levy, Brian Griese, and Tom McShay for the ACC championship. So a little switcheroo, similar to what we saw earlier this season when Chris Fowler and Sean McDonough traded places back in September. So we all remember how that worked out. But Clemson, huge favorite. They're 28.5-point favorites. I think that's the biggest of all the spreads here. So with that being said, let's get into the ACC championship matchup. And yeah, we know how this one's going to go. Wouldn't it be nice if the ACC championship game was competitive again? During the last 2 seasons, Clemson has cruised to 38-3 and 42-10 victories over Miami and Pittsburgh. Virginia has allowed 27-plus points in 4 straight games. Clemson, meanwhile, saw a streak of 45-plus points end at 6 last week, when it merely enjoyed a 38-3 beatdown over South Carolina. Head coach Bronco Mendenhall's Cavaliers will require some substantial turnover luck to compete with the 4-time reigning ACC champions, who will make it 5-0, by the way. Clemson, easy. This is the lock right here. Clemson all over Virginia, 41-21. Nothing more to say. MF, another college football playoff appearance for Clemson is in order here.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I do believe that they will dominate this game as well. You know what? A lot of people were worried about Clemson earlier in the year. They had a couple of hiccups. They didn't really play to their full potential. All of a sudden, now they're starting to play like the national champions. And, you know, Dabo Swinney kind of put some bulletin board material on his team, saying that nobody respects us, that the committee wants us out, and that the reason why is because he's basically playing this us against them type mentality. So he's drilling that into the heads of his team that we cannot lose. We can't afford a letdown because the committees probably doesn't like us and they want us out. We're not Alabama. We're not an SEC team. We're ACC, and the ACC sometimes hasn't been treated very fairly with respect when it comes to college football playoff in the past. And this is what Dabo is saying. You know us, I love Dabo and I think he's great, but even Dabo, I'm like, okay, Dabo, wait a minute, bro. You guys are the defending national champions. You've been in the playoff for the last 3 years in a row, and you're going to be there again this year. You're guaranteed to be there this year. If you feel that there's some kind of conspiracy going on, then, by all means, fire that missile, light the fire on the team. Trust me, they will respond, and they will respond big time with a big ACC win, and they're going to show the committee and the national media that Clemson is here to play, and whoever that team is that plays them in the playoff, you better bring your lunch pail and you better be ready to fight, because the reigning national champions are back and better than ever. Clemson wins ACC. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Man, I mean, I'm going to say it again. I don't know how on earth I'm going to follow that one. Woo. But yeah, I mean, this isn't going to be close. I mean, Clemson, they're back. They're going to show the worldwide they are the defending national champions. And yeah, this is going to be a runaway. And I feel sorry for whoever's going to end up playing Clemson in the college football playoff. It's obviously going to be the number one team in the nation, and we all know who that is. But well, we'll get into them shortly. Or it's coming up right now. So Clemson wins big. Florio, it's on to the last one, and it's for the Big Ten title.
Yes, indeed. The final game of the week and the night. The Big Ten championship game, 8 o'clock on Fox. The number 1 Ohio State Buckeyes squaring off against the number 8 Wisconsin Badgers. Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, Indiana. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft, they will have it. And the spread favors Ohio State by 15 and a half. 15 and a half. So they met earlier this year. Ohio State dominated in a game that we thought was going to be a 5-star classic. When you think of the likes of Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins for Ohio State and Jonathan Taylor for Wisconsin. So MF, we get another rematch here. It's only fitting MF starts this one because he is Mr. Big Ten after all when it comes to college football. So MF, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Big Ten championship. Who walks away with it?
It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great battle, no doubt about it. At the end of the day, I got to say it. I got to go with Ohio State. They've just been the dominating team. They're just a team on a mission right now. They basically answered the bell on every question that needed to be answered. Every question that had to be asked, they've answered it and then some. Every time they've played with conviction, with power, offensively, defensively. They just cannot be stopped. They're the number 1 team in the nation. They're definitely going to be the favorite going into the college football playoff. I think Wisconsin is going to try to make a game out of it, especially their running attack. With Jonathan Stewart, that's the only way. Jonathan Taylor, sorry. Stewart is in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor is going to have to be the workhorse. But the last time that these two teams played, Taylor got held under 100 yards, if I remember correctly. So, you got to shut them down. You got to shut down the running attack and try to force them to win through the air. I just don't think that they have the opportunity to do that. There's nothing more to say. I got Ohio State winning the Big Ten, and they will be the number 1 team going into the college football playoff. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, what can you say about Ohio State? They certainly exceeded the expectations. They went through a lot of good teams and why they're up to this point, and now for them to remain number 1 going into the college football playoff, they just got to win their game. For the Wisconsin Badgers to have any kind of chance whatsoever, the passing game is going to have to really step up along with Jonathan Taylor And I mean, to at least make it, I'll tell you what, guys, if Wisconsin can really make a game out of it going into the fourth quarter, who knows? They could have a chance, but in the end, Ohio State's just too damn good. So I got the Ohio State Buckeyes winning the Big Ten championship. So yeah, so there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So Florio, it's yours.
Considering the competition, Wisconsin just played its best game of the season, or at least its best since wrecking Michigan in September. The Badgers rolled Minnesota for a 38-17 victory in the snow in TCF Bank Stadium, while Jack Cohn threw for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. But Wisconsin fell to Ohio State 38-7 in late October, and the Buckeyes haven't showed any reason to suggest the massive gap has closed. They've defeated 11 of 12 teams by at least 24 points. And the lone outlier is an 11-point triumph over then number 8 in the CFP rankings, Penn State. Plus, through 6 games, the Badgers had allowed a meager 4.1 yards per pass attempt. In the second half, they've surrendered 7.9. Unless that suffocating defense returns, Wisconsin doesn't have a shot to dethrone the Buckeyes. Ohio State, another easy win, 45-21. Ohio State over Wisconsin wins the Big Ten championship. And my friends, tune in Sunday afternoon around noon or so on ESPN, as it will be the college football playoff selection show. Who will be in? Who will be out? Who will be snubbed in the whole 9 yards? So that all goes down Sunday afternoon, high noon, over on ESPN, the college football playoff selection show. So you do not want to miss that. I know I certainly don't. So with that being said, on behalf of MF and Bullock and myself, we want to take this moment to thank you all so very, very much for tuning in for another incredible season of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. We enjoyed bringing it to you. We hope you enjoyed everything. We hope we helped you with games in the whole 9 yards. So another season in the books, and we want to thank you all very much for your continued support of the show. We'll definitely do it again next year, no question about it. But we're not done with college football as a whole yet. In a few weeks, we will have our preview of the New Year's Six bowl games and the college football playoff semifinal matchups. That's in a few weeks. So we'll definitely figure out a day and a time for that. And as soon as we have that, we'll let you all know. So be on the lookout for that. Now then, tomorrow night, we will due to work commitments beyond my control and MF's control, and due to special commitments beyond Michael Bullock's control, unfortunately, we will not be bringing you the Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow night. We're taking this Friday night off. So because of all of that, we will, however, be back with you on Saturday night for NFL Saturday. Our final, well, for the moment, it'll be our final NFL Saturday show for a little bit, as we're going to move it to Thursday starting next week. So NFL Saturday, we have 3 huge main events, gentlemen. 3 huge main events in no particular order. The Baltimore Ravens and my Buffalo Bills. The San Francisco 49ers against the New Orleans Saints. And the rematch of last year's epic AFC Championship game, the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots. We'll get into the other games as well, but those are the 3 big ones come the NFL show on Saturday night. And then Monday, we go back at it with Ridiculously Raw on the whole 9 yards, Wednesday Night Mayhem, and then NFL Thursday starting next week. So that's it. So until Saturday night for NFL Saturday, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Dede Woodson, and always in forever, Derek Forever. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Saturday night for NFL Saturday, you've been watching the season finale of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday right here on the Tone 25, on YouTube.com, and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.